Okay, so welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today well, we're going somewhere new today. Yeah,
Oh,
we got a really interesting request from a listener, and we
correct.
just had to take the bait.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at what it takes to be a Lord Commander.
A Lord
You know,
Commander.
like you find in a fantasy epic or something.
So,
But here's the thing.
okay.
We're going to be looking at Kamala Harris and
Oh,
Donald Trump
yeah.
as potential candidates for this role.
That's uh, that's certainly a twist.
Yeah, so just to be clear,
Yeah.
we're not going to be talking about their actual politics or anything like that.
Of course not.
We're going to be focusing on them as leaders.
Right. Leadership in a very different world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More swords and sorcery and less sound bites and social media.
I like it.
So let's start with Kamala Harris.
Okay.
If you can imagine her stepping into this role, what are some strengths that come to mind?
Well, she was a prosecutor for a while.
Oh.
And to really succeed in that kind of role, you really need to have a sharp mind.
Yeah.
You have to think ahead, really anticipate what the other side is going to argue, be ready to counter their arguments, build a solid case.
So like strategy.
Exactly. Strategic thinking. And I think that could be a very valuable skill for a Lord Commander as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether they're, dealing with courtly intrigue or military campaigns.
Right. It's not just about strength.
Really.
It's about thinking strategically.
Exactly.
And, I mean, she was in the Senate and even vice president.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I feel like she has had to make tough decisions.
You have to in those roles.
Yeah, under pressure.
Absolutely. And I mean, think about all the negotiations she's had to do, building consensus, working with rivals. I mean, these are all qualities that can be really important for a leader in any world,
For sure.
especially one where alliances can be so fluid.
Okay, so all of that makes sense. But how do you think those skills would translate to, say, trying to rally a demoralized army?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, or trying to unite different factions.
Mm.
Do you think she has that kind of charisma to get people to follow her?
That's a good question. And it's tough to say because it's one thing to command a courtroom, or even a political debate.
Right.
But getting people to follow you into battle, that's something different.
Yeah, you need a different kind of presence.
For sure.
And public image is really important, I think,
Oh, it's everything.
when it comes to power.
Yeah, because it's all about reputation and whether people actually believe in you.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about Donald Trump.
Right.
What do you think are some strengths that he would bring as a Lord Commander?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is decisiveness.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Remember that time when he, specific anecdote about Trump's decisiveness?
Oh, right.
I mean, imagine that kind of boldness, applied to leading an army or having to make a really difficult decision under pressure.
So he would just take action.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what you need,
That's interesting.
Yeah, that willingness to just make a decision even when things are uncertain.
That could be useful.
Yeah, and we can't forget his experience in, making deals and negotiating.
Oh, right. He's done a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, think about a world where alliances are constantly shifting.
Yeah.
Being able to make agreements with anyone.
Even people you wouldn't expect.
Exactly. That could be a really big advantage.
And he definitely knows how to command attention.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine him rallying his troops,
Yeah.
giving one of his speeches?
Well, I can see it.
But do you think that same kind of leadership style, that some might say is a little unconventional,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that could actually backfire in this world?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It really depends on the context.
Okay.
What might make you a really strong leader in one situation could be your downfall in another. Especially in a world where loyalty and trust are so important.
Yeah.
If you come across as unpredictable or abrasive,
Right.
you might end up alienating the very people you need on your side.
That makes sense.
So it's really a double-edged sword.
Okay, so let's say you're giving advice
Okay.
to a brand new Lord Commander,
Right.
stepping into this world for the first time.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing you would want them to remember?
I think I would tell them to remember this. Leadership isn't really about wielding power. It's
Oh,
about earning respect.
interesting.
It's about inspiring people to trust you, building strong alliances, really understanding what the people need.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to be able to make those really tough calls,
Right.
be brave and use good judgment. But you can never forget that there's a human cost to every decision.
That's powerful. I feel like this deep dive has been a real lesson in leadership,
Oh, for sure.
even though we're talking about a fantasy world with
Right.
magic and dragons and all that.
But I think the challenges of leadership are pretty universal.
Yeah, I think so too.
Whether you're leading a company or, an entire kingdom, it's all about figuring out complex situations, inspiring people,
Yeah.
making those tough decisions that affect everyone you're responsible for.
So we've looked at these two potential leaders,
Mm.
and we've thought about how their real-world experience might translate
Yeah.
to the world of a Lord Commander.
Right. We talked about their strengths, their weaknesses, how the situation can really change things.
And now we want to know what you think. If you had to choose a Lord Commander, what qualities would be most important to you? Let us know what you think and keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep exploring.